Hello, welcome to the Nintendo Bros podcast. This is Pete.
And this is Derek.
And again, we're two brothers that talk about Nintendo and all things video games, right?
Yes, right.
I mean, we might as well for all the new listeners that we get every time. Anyways, Derek, how are you?
I'm doing well. Enjoying some new games. How about you?
Pretty good. Yeah, I've had a little bit of downtime. I've been enjoying some new games too. I think one of the most exciting things we're going to be talking about probably in the next couple episodes is going to be what we've been playing, because it's that time of year where all the best games come out and all the sales happen, you know?
Yeah, and our kind of, game of the year opinions are starting to form.
Exactly. We'll get to that too. Okay, well, let's get to some Nintendo news.
Okay.
Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl is now out in the wild,
Yes.
ready to be caught. It
Good start.
it has a 76% on Metacritic for all the reviews, which, funny enough, is higher than both Call of Duty and Battlefield 2042. So it's maybe one of the biggest November releases there is for
But
scores.
what's the score compared to other Pokemon games? Did you check that?
It's a little bit lower. I mean, I can't pull it out right now, but Pokemon games usually get around 80, 82. So it's,
Yeah,
it's
that's what I thought. Okay.
It's in the same range, but a little lower. I actually thought it was going to do worse. What do you think?
I thought it was going to do worse too. I know there's a big. I saw a lot of videos of how many glitches there were.
Really?
I don't know if you. Yeah, there's it's like rampant. Like some people just realize how fast they rush through developing this game. Like they didn't check anything. So it's funny because the speedrunning community I think is gonna love this game because people have found ways to skip entire dungeons or how to get the legendary Pokemon right off at the beginning of the game and get all these you can glitch through the wall and sail endlessly across void areas of the map to get to the totally different wrong town. So yeah, I think it's pretty funny, but it also seems like it's gonna have
Unpolished.
some sort of. Yeah, it's unpolished, but it seems like it'll have some speedrunning traction for that reason alone.
Well, it's funny though. Games that get patched sometimes close up speedruns. Speedruns get canceled. Metroid Dread, apparently they did a patch that closed up a few glitches.
Yeah.
And now it voids a lot of the most recent speedruns. So people often say that glitch runs, especially nowadays with patches, are almost kind of they're futile in a way. So, because I wouldn't be surprised if they patch these mistakes, right?
I mean, knowing Pokemon, I doubt it.
I mean, I can see it going both ways,
Yeah.
But they did patch Sword and Shield. They did do DLC. They're not. I mean, I know Pokemon Company didn't develop this remake, but I still think they'll make sure it's polished.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, and again, it's Pokemon. They do want to have some sort of standard, Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've been on the edge of wanting to buy this just because and I've seen this in reviews that people they miss the top-down Pokemon.
It's my favorite generation too. I loved. I played Diamond. I loved it.
Yeah, it's. Let me put it this way: I'm more likely to buy this down the road than I am Sword and Shield.
100% same.
And I'll probably wait for it to be on sale, which will be never. But we'll see. I mean, it was the biggest Switch release of the year in the UK. So it's looking like sales are going to be Omega again for it.
I did not know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, so but more than Metroid, more than Monster Hunter, more than Mario. So yeah, interesting. It's a big. I know you and I aren't excited about it, but it is a major release. So Switch is still pumping out these exclusives, major releases.
Yeah.
Another major release that happened for Switch was the new Metroid Dread, which we haven't talked about at all. But anyways, little news about that is that placed third place on the October NPD month's sales tracking. Number one game for Switch for the month of October. And it's sold more than 2 times what the opening month of Metroid Prime sold in North America.
That's pretty good.
So it's been and by the way, none of that includes digital sales. So people say that if you include the 50-50 markup of digital sales these days, that it actually sold many times more than Metroid Prime. It's easily, I mean, everyone predicted it, but very, very positive sales. It outdid a lot of new releases that month. It was only.
I think it's pretty clear that it's going to be the best-selling Metroid ever.
Yeah, so that bodes well. I mean, in Japan, it didn't hold on for too long. Didn't do amazing things in Japan, but we'll see. It bodes well. We didn't get much more
yeah,
update than that.
I don't think Metroid is really is suited to the Japanese market anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think Japan was ever going to be the place to sell Metroid.
I agree. But I do wonder, because they didn't... Usually if a game does really, really well in the first few days, they issue some sort of press release, like they did with Monster Hunter, or I think they even did it for Super Mario 3D World with Bowser's Fury earlier this year. Like, there's been no Nintendo press release about Metroid yet, even though it did so well in October. So I don't know if that indicates that it maybe didn't sell over 1 million so far in North America or something, you know? I can also see Metroid being very front-loaded of a game, so it sells the bulk of its sales in the first month.
Yeah, it won't have as long of legs as like all the other evergreen titles. I agree.
So I mean, there is reason to think that maybe it will only do about, I don't know, 1.5 million in North America, and we won't get the 6-7 million that we predict. We'll see. Could go both ways.
Yeah.
There was another reveal today. Not today. I think it was yesterday. That there's a new animation on Kraid. If you sequence break and get, did you see this?
No.
So if you sequence break and get the shine speed spark, what's it called? Where the shift, air on shift, right?
Oh, the phase shift kind of thing.
Yeah, where you shift in the air. If you get that sequence break and get that before Kraid, there's a moment where his eyes flash red, and you can shift into him, and it creates a whole new animation where you like pry open his mouth and you're shooting his mouth. Like, everyone's like, how did this get in there? Like, who would have ever thought to even try this? You know, because there's only one way to start those QuickTime events, which is counter, and this is the only one that's not caused by a counter. So very strange.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, very cool.
I'm gonna check that out after. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool. I mean, it's not something I'm going to try to do because I think there's a few sequence breaks that are pretty tough. But it was cool that there's all these little hidden things in there. So the other news is that Square, we heard today that Neo, The World Ends With You, the sequel to the DS or JRPG, has not performed to their expectations, not done very well. It also didn't get any nominations at the Game Awards.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't play it. I don't know if you did. I didn't even play the first one, so I don't know about the quality or whether it should be, at the Game Awards. I just know it wasn't well advertised. Like, I didn't even know when it came out. I didn't know anything about it. I think if they wanted to be a better seller, they needed to push it harder.
Well, it was horribly advertised. It wasn't featured in Square's E3 press trailers at all. Like, they didn't show it at E3 at all, and it came out 1 month later. Yeah. And I did play the first The World Ends With You, and I liked it. I liked it a lot on the DS. It was like really creative use of the touchscreen, really cool story, and I barely knew this was coming out. Like, there was no hype around it at all. And it did get pretty high reviews, and some people love it. It's going to be some people's game of the year. It apparently has a great soundtrack. Like, it's very weird that they let this die.
Yeah. I mean, but you never know, because right now it's only on Switch, right?
It's on Switch and PS4.
Okay. Because you never know, they might try to push it again, but I don't know. If the bad sales, they probably won't risk that.
I mean, it's one of those games where it's almost like they should have maybe done an exclusive deal with Nintendo or something. Because we see how games like Octopath Traveler and Bravely Default seem to keep doing well on Nintendo systems, but they almost need that Nintendo Direct marketing buzz, which they got none of.
Yeah, but those are like a certain type of JRPG that. You know what I mean? Like, the Switch doesn't really have a lot of JRPG competition like that, and I don't know. It's kind of a different game.
I mean, the first one bombed too, so it would have been a surprise if it did well. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Another thing, the VGA Video Game Award, Game of the Year Award nominees were announced. Did you take a look at these, Derek?
I did.
What do you think? I mean, do you have them in front of you? I have them in front of me here. I can tell you the Game of the Year. Just for our audience listening, the Game of the Year nominations were Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village. I know what you're going to say, but what do you think, Derek?
So I think the thing that, of course, I'm going to say is Returnal got robbed for sure. Returnal should definitely be up there, and I say that not all those games are actually pretty good. I think that list is actually better than the other Game of the Year lists I've seen for other awards. The only one I personally didn't think should be up there is Deathloop. Deathloop to me is like a 7, maybe a 7.5. All those other games are like really good or really inventive. And Deathloop, I felt it just fell flat in so many ways. Like, it's really well polished, but it just is kind of dull and shallow. I really like, in Returnal is the exact opposite, where Returnal is, especially when it launched, rough around the edges. It had some, crashes and glitches and no save feature. But damn, cool idea, cool atmosphere, great mechanics, great controls. I'm just surprised that they went for kind of a well-polished safe game as opposed to kind of a game that pushed the boundaries a bit in the genre. And the other one, I didn't play this game, and I know you're going to comment about Forza. I think Forza probably should be there too.
Okay, well, first to tackle the first comment about Deathloop, it seems like one of those games that it almost seems like it was going to be Deathloop or Returnal, and I think maybe Returnal being from an indie studio and Deathloop being from Bethesda and Arcane Studios there's a little bit of sway there with, how big of a studio makes a game, how much pull it has.
Yeah, especially when we get to talk about 12 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Returnal, it did get nominated for Best Action Game and Best Art Best Game Direction. So it has gotten some recognition, but I agree, it's a good list. It's a good list. I don't think. What do you think will win?
Well, my heart says It Takes Two, and my head says It Takes Two or Metroid Dread. And I don't know if you saw, but there was something weird on the glitchy website where apparently Ratchet and Clank won.
I saw that, but
we'll see. I don't believe that actually is going to be the winner. I think it was just some weird glitch of the fan popular vote or something.
Well, that website's only for the People's Choice, which doesn't.
That's what I mean. Yeah, the popular
affect
vote
the actual jury.
Yeah, so I think Metroid Dread has a good chance. Psychonauts 2 probably has a good chance. It Takes Two, though, to me, is the most creative and fun game out of that list.
Okay, to me, ultimately, I'd be okay with Psychonauts 2 or Metroid Dread. I think those
but not It Takes Two?
I don't know. It Takes Two, I liked it a lot, but it didn't. I don't know if it's Game of the Year caliber. And just giving a Game of the Year.
Did you beat it?
No, but I got halfway.
What's continue. Halfway? I think you played 15% of it, and you had a partner, no offense to Vanessa, that was not good at playing the game with you.
I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong. Okay, well, we'll see. I don't get to choose my top 10 Game of the Year list until January anyway, so I have time.
And I'll come home for the break and we'll play it.
I've got time to solidify my list. But anyways, yeah, there was a little bit of controversy over this game, 12 Minutes being nominated, which is funny because when this game was first announced, it looked really cool, and even when it came out, I thought it looked okay, and I actually have it downloaded on Xbox, and I've never played it. Only when I saw yesterday that it was announced for Switch and PS4 did I realize that people hate this game passionately. Do you know more about this, Derek?
I know people hate it a lot. I was reading a lot about why they hate it. I don't know if I'm allowed to spoil the ending of the game.
I wouldn't, but I think I read the same thing as you, and it basically comes down to maybe a distasteful storyline and a storyline that makes people feel cheated.
Yeah, exactly. The two main story ending kind of aspects. One is just awful, and one is just unrewarding.
But the gameplay doesn't sound awful. Some people.
No,
say
I actually heard I had the opposite. I heard almost everyone thinks the gameplay is atrocious too because there's very niche things you have to do to progress the next loop or progress further, and if you don't you have to restart the whole sequence of really specific things. So people are you might be on doing the first 9 minutes perfectly, and then you make a small mistake, you don't know what to do, and you have to do the whole 9 minutes again in the exact really specific sequence. And they're it's just not fun.
I'll probably just end up deleting it. I'm surprised it was nominated. I've heard that there was a few other games like Chicory that has much higher reviews and praise. And
yeah, I want to play the game really bad. It looks amazing, got great reviews. I just can't imagine why 12 Minutes did. I don't know, I keep reading about there being famous actors doing the voiceovers. I don't know who it was. You probably know more than I do, but people think that they want to get some celebrity celebrity status at the awards.
Well, it's like that time that Vin Diesel game was shown at the Game Awards, and like they had him there, and it looked awful, and I don't even know if that game ever came out or was canceled. Like, you know.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'm pretty excited about the Game Awards. It's actually, so I looked it up. It's a little over 2 weeks away. So if we have like, we can talk about it, our predictions more in depth next time. But they do usually have some pretty good announcements, especially for Nintendo. Bayonetta 3 was announced there. Last year, Sephiroth was announced there. So what do you think? Do you think they'll have any hot announcements from Nintendo at the Video Game Awards?
I suspect there'll be at least something from Nintendo for sure. Whether it's, you know, a Bayonetta 3, more of a trailer or I'm just trying to think off the top of my head.
I doubt that. I feel like we've seen Bayonetta 3. We're not going to see that until probably E3.
I'm just trying to think of games that they could show that we haven't seen yet. Like they could show, you know what? A lot of people I saw maybe I saw a lot of people speculate that they're going to do the Breath of the Wild 2 title drop.
Yep. That'd be a good one.
A trailer with the new title, yeah. Because people were saying, oh, maybe the most anticipated game, they'll announce the title like as they show a trailer for it or beforehand or something, you know. Yeah, so I think there'll be some good stuff shown. I don't know about Nintendo specifically. I think it's gonna end up being, you know, like 2 things that are actually enjoyable to me. I'll walk away like those 2 things look great, and the rest will be kind of whatever. That's what
I wonder if they'll show the new 3D Donkey Kong, because in my mind, I still think we might not see Breath of the Wild 2 for a while, based on, you know, people are speculating that it's had development troubles. I don't think we're going to see it till 2023.
Do you think we're going to see Metroid Prime Remake?
That's a good, yeah. I mean, that's been so heavily, there's so much smoke around that one too, right?
And plus, this is such a Western kind of awards. Like it's such a Metroid Prime is such a Western kind of centered game.
Yeah, good point actually. And with Metroid Dread being nominated and being kind of like their big year game for gamers, honestly, I can't wait for Metroid Prime Remake. I really hope it's real. I really hope it's I think one of the quotes was that they want it to feel like you remember it feeling, which is a good thing. Yeah, that'd be really awesome if I don't think it'll be a shadow drop, but they definitely could announce it and have a very fast turnaround on release, like a February or March release, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Or we just speculate about Metroid Prime Trilogy remakes for the rest of time, one or the other.
Or F-Zero new game.
Yeah. So moving on with news, is there anything else with the Game Awards you want to talk about, or?
No, that's really it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be watching. We'll do our predictions next podcast, and we'll talk about it afterwards and stuff. Or maybe we can even do our next podcast right after the Game Awards. And see
maybe it's a little late for me, but
no, I just mean like the day after.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, time it out that way. I really personally hope we see like a new Donkey Kong or whatever Nintendo, the team that made Mario Odyssey is working on, because they've been working on something for a while. So anyways, I should tell you I have a little story. So I told you I bought the GTA Trilogy.
Yeah, and I think I saw your post, so I actually know what you're going to say, but keep going.
So I basically tried to give it a good chance. I played all 3 of them a little bit. The GTA 3 and San Andreas are particularly, like, they just play horribly. Like once you, like, it seems okay like when you first run around a little bit. Once you play and start driving and get into missions, like, it's god awful. Like, it's so bad. So I barely played it, and then I saw they issued an apology, and it's become a whole thing, and I'm like, you know what, I should get my money back for this, because I know they're doing refunds on PlayStation and Xbox. So I contacted Rockstar. They got back to me, and, you know, they kind of were flaky about it, but eventually got back to me and said, hey, like, you have to contact Nintendo about this. Over a week, they took back to, like, they sent me one message, oh, we're going to look into this, and then, so I contacted Nintendo today, got on a phone call with them, and, like, and, you know, long story short, got a full refund. They say they don't normally do it, and especially since I'm past the 7 days, I can't get it as well. But because I was willing to show them both the correspondence from Rockstar and show them the apology letter that Rockstar issued, it's kind of like, I even said, I go, this isn't the quality that I'm used to, and this game is broken and being false advertised. And part of me kind of thinks that it almost is a case of being false advertised when it says it's the definitive edition and has more glitches, more bugs, has words spelt wrong, has so many problems, looks worse than previous versions that have come out, I don't know if you can really call it definitive, and like half the songs are missing. It's almost not definitive in any way.
Yeah.
And it even runs. I know I can download it for Xbox Game Pass as well, but it apparently runs awful on everything. And when I see it in a higher frame rates, it almost looks just as bad. So I don't think they're going to be able to fix this one. I think when it comes down to it, these games were Frankensteined on the PS2 and Xbox generation, and there's not really a clean source code. And what I've heard is that these new versions are Unreal Engine rebuilds of the mobile version. So it's not like a ground up remake. They're actually taking code from the mobile version and kind of repatching it. So anyways, I got the full refund, which is good. And it'll be deleted from my system soon. So
I find it really surprising. I've read all about these kind of terrible stuff, and I'm just surprised because earlier this year, I think it was February, we had CD Projekt Red, really dropped the ball on Cyberpunk 2077.
That was last year, December, yeah.
Oh, December, yeah. And another huge studio, again, it's a remake or whatever, but like totally just like didn't care and didn't think about the backlash they were going to get. Like, right, it's so close to the debacle with Cyberpunk that it's like, how did they think that was going to go? Did they think they could just like slide and hide it out? Like, I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, they were obviously rushed.
Yeah, and I think it's a small team working on it. That was kind of like, a C tier team that's in the warehouse basement that actually doesn't get supervised very often. So they kind of like did it, and like the CEO just like do it. And meanwhile, they're all working on whether it's GTA 5 Definitive Edition or their next game.
Yeah.
I think they didn't really care, and they didn't do the quality testing that they should have.
Totally. And I mean, I was listening to the IGN podcast, and they were saying on there that they could have just done a proper remake of 3 or Vice City, just pick one of them and do a proper remake with somewhat decent,
even just like GTA 5 graphics.
I was just gonna say, even not even quite there, maybe just some halfway there to GTA 5 graphics in a remake and a little bit of polish,
and it would sell like crazy.
Yeah, because it could have been a major seller, like on top 10 NPD list for years. You know what I mean? If they really did it right, now it's going to be the laughing stock and damage the brand. It is too bad. It's the lowest rated user score on Metacritic ever. So
I'm not surprised. I saw it was like 0.2 or something crazy.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So that was disappointing. I actually I was hoping that'd be a good release, and it's just awful. So anyways, the good news is I took that money I'll take the money that I got from that, and I bought you your prize for the Metacritic predictions.
Nice.
It's over. I saw the numbers.
There's just no way that
so
can turn around.
You have Mario Party Superstars coming to your place.
Oh, awesome.
And it should be in the next 1 or 2 days. It's Amazon.
Oh, you know my address?
I got it from Mom.
Okay. Don't dox me right now. But
the address is 115 Riverview Crescent.
Listeners, that's not my real address. Okay, awesome. Thank you. So we're gonna. I told Brandon too, and he's down to play online and stuff.
Yeah, sweet. So I'm probably gonna get it for myself one of these nights too. I mean, I noticed it wasn't on.
I hope so. That was the whole point.
Well, yeah. I mean, I just didn't feel comfortable spending $200 on Mario Party in one day. Let me space it out over 2 days. Okay. I was hoping it would go on sale on Nintendo's Black Friday sale, which is another bit of news here. We're in Black Friday zone. So I know you bought Ghost of Tsushima, right?
I bought Ghost of Tsushima and I bought Kena. The Bridge of Spirits.
Okay, so you've been playing both of those?
I haven't. Kena just arrived today, this afternoon. I haven't even opened it. And I've been so focused on playing Ghost of Tsushima and really enjoying it that I don't want to switch games. I'm worried I won't go back.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that during what we've been playing.
Yeah.
There seem to be a lot of sales. I mean, I'm looking at them right now on Nintendo's page. But they're like little sales. It's like 25% off, which amounts to not very much.
There's actually a few great sales for some of the games in Canada and the US for maybe 8 or 9 of the big Switch games, but they're older games.
What have you seen?
I forget what they were. There was like Breath of the Wild and
But even like Mario Odyssey here and Monster Hunter Rise that are on sale, like their sales are minor. New Super Mario Bros. U, Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, Kirby's on sale, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, Xenoblade Chronicles, Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal has a significant sale. The rest of them don't.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm kind of just. There's nothing really like, woo, I gotta buy that now.
I have a list. So, Bravely Default 2's $25 off. Kirby Star Allies $25 off. Mario Kart Live, like both the race car thing is $30 or $40 off.
Those are fun.
New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe $25 off. Paper Mario Origami King $25 off. Ring Fit Adventures $30 off. Splatoon 2 $25 off. So like it's some of the older games. Mario Maker 2 $25 off. Breath of the Wild. So it's some of the older games. Oh, and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 is half price.
That's honestly, I'd recommend that one. That was great.
I know. I want to get it for the PS5 just because I know I think it's 120 frames, and I've never played a 120 frame game ever, so I really want to have a game that I can play that on.
Yeah, you know what else has caught my eye here is Capcom has a major sale on, and some of their games are like down to $10. Including Resident Evil 4 on Switch is $15. Resident Evil 5 and 6 are $15 each. And there's Devil May Cry 1, 2, and 3, which are each $10. So I might just... I might cave on that whole trilogy of Devil May Cry games. And by trilogy, I mean 1 and 3. So I already have Resident Evil 4 on Switch. I've paid full price for it.
I played Devil May Cry 5. It's really good. Like I actually like the Devil May Cry series a lot.
Well, it's number 1 and 2, 3. It's not 4 and 5.
I know, yeah, but I'm just saying. I even liked DMC, like the.
I know you did. Did you ever play the original Devil May Cry trilogy? Any of them?
I played the first one with you back on the PS2, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what you were playing on my system? I remember I couldn't beat like the second boss, and I gave up and I just watched you play it. Because that game was actually pretty tough.
I think now that you're better at games and you played the Dark Souls games, like I think you can muscle through it in an afternoon.
I was like 11, so I was like, this game is.
It is really cool though because it does kind of show the beginning of that genre of like Bayonetta and Devil May Cry. Like it almost kind of it is a pioneered game. So I actually suggest probably they say the best version of number 3 is actually on Switch because they did a special edition for Switch, which has like the modern controls.
Oh yeah. So I always wanted to. I wanted to get all of them because every single one of them came up for the PS4, like a hard copy. And I wanted to get all of them, but to get the fourth one is impossible. It's like $300.
You're kidding.
It only released as a physical edition in Japan as a limited special edition, or in the UK, like something wild. So to get the physical edition for the fourth game is impossible. So you can get them all digital. Like you can get a digital, no problem, for like $15. But to get the actual physical game is like $400. So I was like, well, for collecting purposes, I don't want to get 1, 2, 3, and 5. So I just said screw it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think these are all digital sales, and I don't think they ever came physically to Switch. They're only digitally.
Yeah, I'm just talking about something else. But yes,
as far as I know, the Switch versions run at 60 frames. They're 1080. They're just as good of HD versions as there are anywhere else.
I just want to switch topics for a sec because you mentioned Resident Evil 4. Are you inclined to get the VR game? Because I know you have a VR headset still, don't you?
It's for PS4 though, so I don't. It's not the. It's only Oculus, I believe.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what it was on.
Yeah, I mean, I really, really want to try it, but I just don't have a computer really for it. I don't really have a couple thousand lying around to invest in VR.
Yeah.
It's not really in my wheelhouse right now. I really want to try it though. I wish there was like arcades you could go to and pay for an hour. Like I could pay $40, get 2 hours, and just go and experience that and not have to own it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I think that might be a thing at some point. Yeah, but I mean, I wonder. Like I know Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6 on Switch are HD 60 frames, but do you know if there's a 4K version on PS5 and Xbox Series X yet of Resident Evil 4?
I have no idea. I stopped buying Resident Evil 4 after like the third time.
Okay, never mind then. Yeah, the only thing on this whole sales list, and it ends on the 30th, so we have about another week. But the only thing that really kind of jumped out at me
Is this eShop? This is the eShop?
yeah, it's Nintendo's official sales. Is the Castlevania Advance Collection is 25% off.
Okay, I heard it didn't look good on a big TV. That's why I was kind of like, well, I don't really need that.
I mean, what do you expect a Game Boy Advance game to look like?
I know, but I'm saying I don't play on anything other than a TV. So I don't know.
I mean, Jackbox Party 8 is on sale. I don't know if that's supposed to be good. But also, I recommend you grab Cyber Shadow.
Shadow
on Switch. Yeah, it's on sale, 25% off, and it's like it's going to be on my game of the year list. It's a great little. Yeah, I think it's everything the Messenger probably wanted to be.
Okay, I have a few games that I really want that are eShop only, so I want to check those. I haven't actually checked the Nintendo deals. Like, I want to know if like Little Nightmares 2 is on sale, or
it is on. It is. Little Nightmares 2 is on sale on Switch,
or Hyper Light Drifters, Ender Lilies. Like, there's a few games I want to check out. So,
well, now's the time. I think
Streets of Rage 4. You know, like Streets of Rage 4.
I don't see that one here, but that's a great game. You got to get that one. The other thing that happened recently is Microsoft. I mean, speaking of older games, cheaper sales, things like that. Kind of related. Microsoft announced there's going to be a whole bunch of more backwards compatible upgraded games. I think it was something like 70 games. So, and some of those really caught my interest. Apparently now you can play Sonic Generations. I don't know if you ever played it, but you can play it now in 4K 60.
I'll be honest. You could name any of the past 12 Sonic games, and I couldn't tell you which one came out when or which system. They all are a blur to me. Like, you have Generations, Colors, Force, Primal.
Okay,
Unleashed.
well, Generations was the one that was one of the highest reviewed, most successful ones on PS3 and 360. It was never on Wii. And it mixed in really nicely, like the 3D kind of Sonic Adventure style with the 2D style of classic Sonic. It did a really good job, and has still, I think, the best graphics of any of them. I just at the time I was not really into wasn't playing a lot of PS3 at that time it came out, so I wasn't big on it. But now that I can see it's cheap, I can get it for Xbox and get it in it's like I watched some videos. It looks beautiful. Like it's like it looks like a next gen Sonic game if you took clips of it and edited it. Yeah, so I might jump onto that. I think Max Payne 3, like a bunch of stuff got announced.
Okay, nice. That's awesome.
So yeah, let's move on to some other news here. I bought finally ordered a GameCube HD Mark II out converter for my GameCube.
I like that we went from news to your personal news.
Well, it's all in a big.
I know, it's just funny.
I'm trying to mix it up here for our
another
listeners.
News. Here's what I did.
Another news. I bought something today, a bagel. No, anyways, funny. I think we talked about this, but maybe not on the podcast. But I've been a GameCube collector, and it looks terrible on a interlaced signal on a 480i on a progressive giant OLED TV. It looks terrible. So I needed to get the progressive scan. Funny enough, only the early generation GameCubes even allowed it. So I had to go and find like an early generation GameCube. So I have 3 GameCubes now.
Oh my god.
And well, one of them doesn't work. One of them's an older one, and one of them doesn't have the digital out, and one of them, my new one, is the oldest one with a digital out. But I got Sonic Mega Collection along with it, complete with a manual. But anyway, so I've ordered this thing. It hasn't come yet, but it looks pretty nifty because not only can you, run your games in progressive scan. You can run. So the way it worked on GameCube was certain games allowed for progressive scan, and you'd have to hold the B button down when starting the game up. But what this thing can do is it allows you to run that progressive scan, but it'll also allow you to like force a certain progressive scan look with games that didn't support it. And also it has like scan line modes, and it also has a cool feature where out of the back you can still run in your regular composite, those red, yellow, white cables into your TV and an HDMI at the same time and record yourself. So if you wanted to live stream and deal with it that way, you can actually use it for that, which is pretty neat.
That's cool. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of little features on it. It's about $200. Yeah, I'm excited to get it and jump into some single player GameCube games and really get into it. 'Cause right now I tried to get in and it's too jaggedy.
What game are you gonna play first?
I think if Metroid Prime Collection, or Metroid Prime Remake isn't shown at the Game Awards, it'll be that.
Okay, yeah, that'll be sick to play on a big screen like that.
Yeah, but if they do the big remake, then I might. If they don't announce it, I might just wait for it, or I don't know, jump into number 2. I'm really interested to play one or 2 again on the GameCube. Yeah. Anyways, there is some more news actually. Let's get into it. There's a bunch of Halo Infinite campaigns previews dropped. Did you take a look at any of these, Derek?
I didn't. I've only been following the multiplayer scene, so I nothing about it.
Okay, well, it's funny. Maybe we can talk about this more when we get into what I've been playing. You probably know more about the multiplayer scene, even though I've played it. I don't quite understand how that kind of scene works. Yeah, I'm more interested in the campaign, so I've been following along with this, and it sounds amazing. Sounds really cool. It's not open world like we maybe thought. Yeah, it's not at all open world. Just the levels are massive. So it's kind of interesting actually. It's kind of like a new approach. People say it's very weird. It's like Halo meets Breath of the Wild in openness, and they're like, you wouldn't think it's fun, but because it's Halo, it's amazing. Some people are saying. Basically, you have a giant piece of land that you can explore. You have a grapple beam that you can like climb up things, and you can do the main mission, or you can kind of take out other bases and do things along the way and like power yourself up before you get to the final part of the mission. Apparently it's great. It's a cool approach rather than just trying to do the whole open world thing and being a checkbox, filling out a checkbox. It's a little more focus, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it kind of sounds like, or at least how I felt when I played The Last of Us 2. Mm-hmm. You know that area in The Last of Us 2 where you're in downtown, I think it's Chicago? Mm-hmm. And it's
Portland,
kind of
wasn't it Portland?
Or maybe it's Portland, but it's like kind of that open area where it's like you go in a bunch of buildings and they all have this like little thing happening. You could like, you could spend like 6 or 7 hours in there, and then once you moved on, it's like then you continue the linear story part of the game. Mm-hmm. I loved that kind of small open world portion. I thought that was awesome. So this sounds a bit bigger with Halo because you have vehicles and things like that, but I think that's a cool way to go.
I definitely agree with you. I mean, I think that we almost. Thinking about general game design, we've almost been in this structure of like you're either an incredibly focused linear game like a Call of Duty shooter or a Metroid in a very contained world, or you're on the total opposite end of Far Cry Breath of the Wild open world.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Too.
I'll talk about it.
But there hasn't been too many games that have done something in the middle, right? Where it's like, okay, well, we're going to take some of the design philosophy of open world and some of the design philosophy of a linear level-based game and mash those together. And I think, if anything, if we look at the history of Halo, it actually has done that. Like the whole time, Halo levels always felt huge, even back on the Xbox.
Yeah. I was going to also say another franchise that I think does that really well, and I think that's why it's so popular, is the Dark Souls franchise.
Yeah, good point.
Because even Dark Souls 1, there's multiple paths you can go. It's a huge world that kind of interconnects on itself, but it's not so big where it's a collectathon. Like there's clear paths, clear objectives, but it all just kind of builds into this one big world.
Yeah, and it's very open-ended in that way, too.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I mean, we can talk about it later, but Elden Ring kind of pushes back into the open world's philosophy with that one, right? Mm-hmm. But it is interesting that, I mean, I'm really excited for Halo. The campaign sounds great. I'm disappointed it's only going to be single-player at launch. But
I think you said that already to me, actually. Yeah, I think I knew that.
But it does look really, really good, and what I played of the multiplayer is great. So I'm just interested to try that kind of new, fresh approach. I was kind of, open world can be very daunting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it can be a total flop too.
Mm-hmm. The last piece of news I have on my list here is just, I believe today, the Mario Golf got a new major update version 4.
Sorry, can we stop before do you want me to talk about Halo multiplayer?
Well, let's get into it in a sec, because that's what I've been playing.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, keep going.
I've been playing a lot of it, actually, so we'll talk about it. So Mario Golf got a new update. Wiggler and Shy Guy are added. They have 2 new full golf courses and 2 new modes, and I believe one of those new modes has online play, so it's a pretty significant update.
Do you know how many full courses there are now?
I think there's
8 or 10?
Close to 10, yeah. It must be around 10.
Okay. So I mean, if it's on sale or I find it used, like even just for the content alone, I think it might be worth picking up. Like, I don't think it'll ever be a fantastic game, but just having 200 holes to play with friends, I think it'd be fun.
Totally. I mean, it's maybe in Black Friday in 3 years from now we can get it.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. But seriously, that's kind of what I'm expecting if I ever buy this game, that's kind of how I'll go about doing it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's weird. It's like if it had all this content when it first released, I may have bought it because I was on the fence. But now I'm gonna wait for a sale. So yeah. Anyways, it's good though that they made it a better package like they did with Mario Tennis. But it does also go to show how important it is to launch with the right package too.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I think those sports games, and I think it's Camelot who made both them, right? I think they just are so off the mark with what their audience wants. Like they're just like keep trying to do the Nintendo reinvent the wheel and just like stick to the core values of what makes those games good. You know, like I don't get why they always have to do.
It's like they think they need a brand new marketing gimmick, and I feel like that's something that's almost inside of Nintendo themselves.
That's what I'm saying. It's like a Nintendo kind of thing when like just look at Call of Duty. They release the same thing every year and it sells. People just once you found something good, which they both those series did, tennis and golf, they both had something good. It's like just stick with it. Just make more levels, more characters, like more better graphics. People will buy it.
I would love it if they just kind of went a traditional route of like, so many courses, so many characters, unlockable costumes.
Exactly.
Maybe create a character, mini golf, online, fleshed out online modes, fleshed out tournament modes. Like we don't need some silly run mode and all these ring modes and things that are in power tennis, the super, anime tennis matches. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like just, I want to play tennis with Mario.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I'm okay with those things, but get the other things right too. Because
yeah, exactly.
It feels bare bones otherwise. Maybe they'll get it right one day. I have hope that Next Level Games in Vancouver here are working on a great new Mario Strikers.
That'd be awesome, yeah.
Yeah, and be huge. To be honest, people are salivating for that franchise.
And you know what? FIFA World Cup's next year.
That's right. Yeah. Who knows? I can see it coming next year. I mean, they've been working on something since Luigi's Mansion in 2019.
Yeah.
Anyways, Derek, right before we get into what we've been playing in our next game, I just wanted to quickly touch base on what game for 2021 or what games for 2021 are you most excited for? I have a top 5 list here for myself.
For 2021?
Sorry, 2022. Wow, what year is it? For next year.
I wish you prepared me, considering you made a list.
Well, I can do my list while you think about yours. I mean, we'll probably agree on a lot of the same things, but it's basically a list of games to be excited about and to look forward to. But I kind of wanted to make these lists based on things we know are coming out. So putting GTA 6 or putting the new Mario.
Yeah, I'm not going to put The Last of Us 3 on it.
Or even Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah.
So my list here, I put Splatoon 3, Bayonetta 3, Eden Ring, Starfield, and then Kirby in the Forgotten Land. I think looks pretty exciting. Elden Ring, sorry.
You say its name correctly.
Those 5 to me are my most the games I'm looking forward to most.
Sorry, so Splatoon 3, Elden Ring, Bayonetta 3.
Kirby in the Forgotten Land, the 3D Kirby.
I'm shocked by that one. Okay.
And Elden Ring. To be honest, I actually I went back and watched the Kirby Forgotten Land trailer a few times, and it looks pretty great. It kind of looks like just a 3D world Mario game, and polished, and it usually has great music. So it's just looking for a nice, relaxing romp.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And for lack of other announcements, I mean, it's not like there's a ton of other things that we know are coming.
No. Yeah, I agree.
And I just don't. Both the Horizon and new God of War series on PlayStation don't do much for me, and Microsoft hasn't announced anything. So
I'll be honest, I'm surprised you picked that game over Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah, never mind Ninja Turtles. I totally forgot about that game.
I like that you're actually changing your list.
I can hear me typing. Yeah, just for my own. Well, Kirby would be number 6. So, what's your 5, Derek?
And you said it has to be the games that we know are coming next year. Like I can't say the Dead Space remake.
No. I mean, I don't think.
Okay, yeah, I don't think it is. Okay, so I would say Elden Ring for sure. That's my number 1. It probably will be my favorite game of all time.
Wow, you're going that far? That's insane.
I just think it looks like everything I loved about the From games mixed with everything I wanted in one of those.
You know
games.
what? So I saw a thing online. They people who are playing it. It still has an inconsistent frame rate.
Yeah, but we'll see what happens at the
Not
end.
that that's
I don't know.
everything, but I mean, it's just like it's not that polished 60 that I would kind of expect
But
on
don't
a
forget
next gen system. So
the network test that they did is like from a way older version.
true.
So Elden Ring, I would say, in no order, obviously. Triangle Strategy.
Yep.
Ooh, this is tough. I would say, can I say Zelda?
No, I don't think so.
Can I say Hollow Knight Silk Song?
No. We don't know. Those are
Okay. I know. I'm just making sure because, like, there's a good chance the Breath of the Wild 2 sequel does come out, but you're right, it's not guaranteed.
I think it comes down to that one is whether or not we see it at the Game Awards. You're right. If we see and hear about it at the Game Awards, it's coming next year. If we don't, it's not. That's my prediction.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna list some games that I probably have a similar list to you, so I'm going to change it up with some different games just for the sake of it. Okay. I would say Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a good one. I kind of forgot about that, yeah.
I like the first one was such a sleeper hit for me. I was blown away by how much I liked it.
I really also like the new direction they've taken with it being more open with the worlds. It's not like little puzzle worlds. It's more of an open running around environment, and when you touch an enemy, you go into like a JRPG style battle.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that structure so much more than what they did in the first one that it has me excited.
Yeah, it's very cool. I would also say, I don't know if you're gonna have heard of this game. It's called Dark Deity. It has already come out on Steam, but it's coming to Switch. I think in the summer.
Okay.
It's like a Fire Emblem Game Boy Advance clone. So it's like the same kind of pixel sprites, tile based Fire Emblem of the like the Game Boy Advance DS ones. Mm-hmm. But it's made by their own indie developer studio, whatever. Looks awesome. Like it looks exactly like nostalgia from the old Fire Emblems. So that's just on my list.
Very cool.
What am I? I'm at 4 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, last one, I don't know. I'd throw out I'd say Horizon Forbidden West, even though I'll probably wait on that one. I am excited to play another one of those games.
I mean, it's so funny. It's like a lot of times the games we have on the Game of the Year we don't even know are coming out or can't possibly predict. I mean, we would have never known last year at this time that Metroid Dread was coming, let alone both of our game of all times.
Yeah, exactly. And like God of War Ragnarok, like it did say it was coming next year, but is it?
Yeah, exactly. Who knows?
Yeah.
We all know games take longer than ever to make, too, right? So.
Yeah, exactly.
I do think Starfield's going to make it next year, though, and I also do feel like Bayonetta and Splatoon 3 are shoo-ins.
I totally agree. I honestly think Breath of the Wild will still make it for the holiday as well.
Oh wow, that'd be great. Yeah. But yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a pretty good year. I mean, overall feelings, about 2001. How do you feel? I mean, I know. I was going to kind of ask you about this during this podcast, but like, how are we going to do? Are you and I going to kind of do our Game of the Years in January alongside the like Reset Era voting timeline?
I'd like to because I want to have a chance to finish up some games or whatever.
I agree. And to me, it gives me my chance over January to like, it's a quiet time. It's a good time to play a lot of the games.
Exactly.
We missed.
Yeah.
But we still kind of have a sense for like, how would you say your Game of the Year list is right now, and also. Do you think it's going to shift a lot with the games you're going to play over the next 2 months?
I mean, I don't know how many more games I'm actually going to play that have come out this year. Like, it'll be Kena, and maybe I'll pick up, Neo Collection, or maybe Scarlet Nexus or Tales of Arise. But other than that, like, those are kind of the games that or Tony Hawk maybe. But those are kind of the games that are still on my list of getting this year.
By the way, Tony Hawk is a 2020 game. It came out on Switch in 2021, but actually that and Crash Bandicoot are a year before.
Okay, so forget that one. But so those last 3 games that I mentioned are the only 3 games that I'd still pick up. I think I have a pretty solid idea of where my list is right now. Mm-hmm. I think it's pretty obvious what's on top. I don't think it's going to be dethroned. But I think I have some games that you'll be surprised that are going to be as high up on the list as they are.
I think you'll feel the same about my list.
Okay.
So, lastly, our most famous popular segment, what you've been playing or what I've been playing.
Our most popular segment. Even our 4 listeners probably don't even make it to this
It's our only segment.
Well,
it's our only segment, so it wins by default.
Yeah.
Actually, I have another segment after this, but we'll get to that later.
Okay.
So why don't we go through, take turns here? What's a game you've been playing, Derek?
So I already mentioned Smash Bros. And Puyo Puyo with my friends. I finally finished up Hitman 3, so now I've finished the whole trilogy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I could always go back and play a lot more. Like, I didn't do every single possible mission story or achievement or anything.
Do you recommend it? Is it awesome?
I really liked it. I would do what I did, and I would play a level for a good hour or two, and then do the next one. And this kind of space yourself out where I did like maybe the first 6 levels or the first game, and then I took like a couple of months break. And then I came back into the second game and did like 5 or 6 levels and took a break. Then I came back into the last 5 or 6 levels and kind of finished it out. If you're going to buy all 3, okay. If you're just gonna buy one, don't spend like it's kind of designed in a way where you could beat the level in 6 minutes and be like, okay, well that's the level. Or you could try to do all the mission stories or try to do the zany. There's like little challenges saying like, oh, kill this person with a chandelier during the fireworks show. Yeah, okay. And it's like you have to like think about how you can set up the fireworks to blow up the chandelier at the same time he's walking on the stage. So it is really fun, but you don't want to spend forever on one level because then you're going to get burnt out. So it's kind of that weird. You have to balance yourself of how much you want to get out of the one level before moving on without burning yourself out of the entire
Interesting.
formula.
So how does the gunplay and controls feel though? Is it a good game feel?
Yeah, it's not really a gun game though. It's more like a sandbox puzzle game. Like it's a lot of like, how do I get this thing to occur? It's not like go in guns blazing.
Guns blazing is not fun.
It's not that it's not fun. It's just it won't work. Like you're an assassin, and like these are high profile targets with bodyguards and stuff. Your goal. It's truly a stealth game. So it's like you're trying to get in, kill the person, hide the evidence, hide the body, and get out without anyone realizing you did it. Of course, you can get caught, and then you kill the person that saw you, and you hide their body as well, and things get out of hand. But for the most part, it's a stealth game. Like one of the cool levels in the third game, probably the highlight of the third game for me was, the movie Knives Out. Mm-hmm. It's like that exact same thing where like you have to kill the mother or the matriarch or the family. And you, at the start of the level, you actually like beat up the investigator that's supposed to investigate the death of the father of the family, and you take his outfit and you enter the house as the investigator, and you like have to figure out the whole kind of mystery of who killed the father, and there's like 6 siblings and cousins, and like you're kind of like sneaking on all of them. It's really, really good.
Cool. So if I was to buy just one of them and like just try a little bit, just get the third one, skip the first 2.
I think, in my mind, the second is the best, but I would get the third one, and then if you like them, you can pick up the other ones as DLC for really cheap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, I will look into that. I mean, I have a feeling it's one of those games I'm going to buy, and then it's going to appear on Game Pass the next day.
Yeah. You know what? So speaking of news, I'm surprised I didn't even think about this when I was talking about it. They just announced, I think it's IOI Studios that makes Hitman. They just announced that they're going to have a year 2 of Hitman 3 content completely or some of it's completely free. So new maps and new missions and new game modes, and they're putting a VR mode. So they're adding all this extra content to Hitman 3. So I'm actually excited to go back when those things come out.
Wow. And so it's not a full price game, is it? Number 3?
It is a full price game, but so I think I paid all in for all 3 games like $110.
Okay.
So you get the 80 for the first. I bought it like day one almost. So I got 80 for the first one, and then for the third game, and then I got a deal where I got the other 2 as downloadable content running on Hitman 3's engine though.
Mm-hmm. I think you mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah, for an extra $30 or $40.
Wow, okay. I'm going to look into that because it's always looked like a fun series. I remember playing it way back in the day on the first Xbox.
Yeah, the only thing I would, again, recommend is don't just play it nonstop because you're going to get burnt out. But it's like you're actually the perfect person for it because it's the kind of game that you can play one level for 2 hours and that's your evening. And you can come back in 2 weeks and play the next level. Like it's not like you have to keep progressing. It's like each level is its own distinct kind of sandbox of craziness. And you can kind of go around picking what you want to do. It's fun.
Oh, cool. Well, one of the games I've been playing, and we did talk about this a little bit over Facebook, but we didn't talk about it in our podcast yet, was I finally beat Resident Evil 8. I loved it. I started playing on hard, and I like how the progression carries over with the gun, so it makes it a little easier for me.
Wait, you started on hard? You're playing a second time on hard?
Yeah, but I'm doing it with the New Game Plus on hard.
Oh, okay, because hard is actually pretty easy. You should try the Shadow of whatever on the as your New Game Plus.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, anyways,
yeah.
we won't talk about it too much because I know we already did, but I absolutely loved it. I think ultimately it's better than 7 and probably in my top 4 Resident Evil games ever. And it's going to be on my Game of the Year list, and we can talk about it in depth then if you want.
Yeah, it's a really great game. I totally agree with you. Let's talk more about it.
Yeah, I think it's overall one of the most polished Resident Evil games and consistent, and best art direction.
I agree. It's just great all around. Like there's no really, again, I keep saying I don't love the middle sections. It's not like they were bad. I think the whole game is just a really solid package.
Question for you about it. I did a little bit of the Mercenaries, but how do I unlock more levels in Mercenaries?
So when you walk in the room where you you can buy upgrades and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. There's a book right when you walk in, like right when you exit. It's like right before the exit of that little area with the big dude.
Okay.
And the book tells you a score. It says like to get A rank you need this score, to B rank you to get this score. I think you need it tells you which rank unlocks the next level. I think you have to get an A rank on the level to unlock the next one.
Okay, cool. I really enjoy it. I did the first level and really enjoyed it.
It's actually it's really good. I got a platinum on Resident Evil 8, and to get the platinum, you need a double S rank every single level.
Mm-hmm. So that's basically speed and what? Headshots and efficiency and all everything.
Headshots and efficiency and picking like the correct weapons. Wait till you get to because the first 4 levels are pretty easy. Level 5 through 8 is really hard, and I didn't do this, but my friend Brandon did. Is if you get triple S on every single level, you unlock the lightsaber for the campaign, so you can use a lightsaber. It's kind of cool.
I saw that on a unlock thing, but
yeah.
When by level you mean like the 3 stages in each level, or is each one of those stages a level?
No, the 3 stages is 1 level. So
okay.
You have 24 stages, 8 levels.
Okay, I've done the first one. I'm excited to jump into
But sorry, they're not always 3. Sometimes they get up to like 5.
Okay.
Or 6.
It's surprising how well it works. Because Resident Evil 7, did it have... I don't think it had a Mercenaries mode, did it?
No, nothing like that.
So it's really cool that they've adopted
I don't know if they added stuff... Because I know they added like Chris DLC. I don't know what the DLC added for 7 was.
It's weird. It's like with Resident Evil 7, it has that... opening couple hours that are just amazing, and it's got some real highlights in there, but there is a good 50% of the game does feel a little bit like a slog, and it feels like you're fighting those goo monsters and stuff, and I just never felt that slog in number 8.
No, yeah, I totally agree.
What else have you been playing, Derek?
So the main game I've been playing the past 3 or 4 nights, like almost a disgusting amount.
What's a disgusting amount to you?
So I got it on Friday, and I was busy all week. My dad came up and visited. Like our dad came up and visited.
You have another dad? Okay.
No, sorry, our dad. I don't know if I'm talking to you or talking to our listeners. He came up, and so I was pretty busy all weekend. But by today, I've played 25 hours of Ghost of Tsushima.
Wait, and it's Wednesday, so that's what, 5 hours a day?
I played like probably 11 hours on Sunday.
Doesn't anyone comment on that don't your legs start to feel dizzy? Like,
no, I took breaks, but it's like I had all day. Like I was hanging out with my girlfriend and my parents, and then they all left. So it's like, oh, now I finally get a chance to like sit down and play this game for real.
Wow. So tell me about it. Because first before you start telling me about it, did you get the PS5 version, PS4 version? How does that work?
Oh, I bought the PS5 version, of course.
But it's more money, right?
I got it on sale, but yeah, it's normally $90. I got it for $60, I think.
And it adds what, a 60 frame?
It's targeting 60 frames and 4K, I think. I've never noticed any problem with the frame rate or graphics or anything.
Okay, so
and
tell me
it
about
also includes the DLC.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I would say it's unbelievably gorgeous. Like, it looks amazing, and the combat is really, really fun. Like, you actually feel like a samurai. Some of the stuff you can do is really cool. Mm-hmm. But the more you play it, you realize it's the best way to describe it is it's the best, without a doubt, the best Assassin's Creed game. So it's like really, really good, and there's so many things it does right and so many things that are fun. But if you really think about it deep down, it does have that same issue as Assassin's Creed, where it does feel a lot of samey. Go here and do the same thing you've already done 12 times and collect the same thing you've collected 30 times. Even though to go to a mission, like an enemy camp and kill all the guys and do it stealthy or just go in and slaughter them all is really, really fun. After 22 of them, I'm like, okay, like I've done it enough times. I'm still finding it fun enough that I'm gonna keep playing it before I move on to Kena. Because I don't know if I'll get like the platinum or do 100%, but
do you think you'll beat it at least?
I actually beat the game last night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I beat the game, but I think I haven't done the DLC, which is it's a whole nother island or area, and I think I'll just kind of play after that until I'm just satisfied. Like right now, the core combat is just really fun, and riding around on the horse just looks so good graphically that it's driving me to keep playing despite it kind of being repetitive.
It does something with the wind that guides you where you don't have to have a big disgusting hood all of the time.
Yeah,
right?
So one of the things that is really cool and really nice for, OLEDs, that if you're worried about a HUD kind of burning your screen or if you have that kind of fear, there is no HUD in essence, or it fades away almost instantly. And what you do is you swipe up on the touchpad and it blows the wind, and then the wind tells you the direction of your objective.
Okay, cool. And the combat, is it more of a Zelda-style combat or more of a Dark Souls? Like, how does the combat work?
The combat feels...
Ubisoft?
Did you play... No, it's not. Actually, it is. So, in a way, there's two kind of aspects to the combat. The first one is the stealth, and it feels like Assassin's Creed. You got your smoke bombs, you got your darts, you got your arrows, you got your assassinations from jumping up high, you got your crouching in the bushes... you got your listen mode that tells you who can see each other and who you can assassinate freely, exactly like Assassin's Creed kind of game. But then you have the other half, and there's all these upgrades and skill trees for that. And then the other half is the true samurai. So you kind of got the ninja and samurai. And the samurai is you have 4 different stances. One stance is good against swords, one's against shields, one's against pikes, and one's against like the brute guys, like the big guys. And you can switch them on the fly. So in the middle of it, like you can switch stances, and like all your moves change and all your combos change, and you do it just to help break the shield. It kind of feels a little like Sekiro. I don't know if you played Sekiro, but they have a stagger meter. So if you break their stagger meter, they get knocked off balance. You can do real damage, or you can parry them or roll around them and hit them from behind or something and damage them that way.
Easier than a Dark Souls, though, yeah?
Yeah, easier than a Dark Souls. Especially once you get more and more upgrades. So it's kind of cool because I started on hard, and it was somewhat challenging at the beginning. But by the end, you have so many wicked upgrades. Like, now I can... Like, sometimes I do the stealth approach and do all the cool ninja stuff. And sometimes I walk in... And, I just have all 20 just chase me down. And all you're doing is just, like, parrying and then slashing them down and then doing these crazy moves where, like, you're darting between 3 of them instantly and, like, killing them all. And
cool.
It's really cool. Like, it's cool that you can kind of play both styles, and both styles really feel fun. That's, like, the greatest part of it. That and the horseback riding graphics. The biggest downside is just...
repetitive gameplay.
It just, after the 30th Mongolian camp, it's like I don't want to do another 30 of them.
I feel like some of these games, maybe what they could do to shift away from that Ubisoft, boredom, is if they allowed the same style of gameplay where you can go anywhere, do anything, but they actually add major missions throughout. Like, this is your major mission, which has unique gameplay and story, and then there's another major mission with unique gameplay story.
So I was gonna say the major missions are really unique. They're actually the best part of the as far as like the sameness. They're all very different. Like, one time you're defending a siege, and one time you're sneaking into a giant area to poison their like alcohol to kill everyone. Like, the missions are actually very different, and like they all feel really cool. It's just the side missions when it's like, if you want to get iron to upgrade your sword, like you do 6 of these camps. I'm like, oh my god, like I've already done 30 of them.
Well, I mean, I guess it's a little bit like you were saying with Hitman. It's how you choose to get your enjoyment out of it, and I think that's probably a lot of open world games. Because to me, I actually, Ghost of Tsushima PS5 is definitely on my list for the moment I get a PS5, and I'll probably
it's worth it. It's worth playing.
I'll probably just do the main story and a little bit of side missions to upgrade, and probably miss half the game and just beat the story. Do you know what I mean? Like, and
honestly, you'll have a fantastic time.
Yeah, it's funny that I can't wait to now get a PS5 and get Returnal and this and replay The Last of Us 2 in 60 frames, and It's the list is building for me on PS5.
It's funny because I'm starting to feel the same about Xbox.
Yeah, it's good. That's a good thing. I mean, not that
Yeah,
I can get a PS5, but still.
No, yeah, I agree. Yeah,
For Ghost of Tsushima, is it called like Director's Cut or something?
yeah, it's called Ghost of Tsushima's Director's Cut. I haven't played the DLC, so I can't comment on that. But people say it's really, really good.
So I guess we will include it on this year's Game of the Year list if you want, right?
Oh, I for sure am.
Even though it's a last year game. I mean, it's funny. Once you play a game in 60 frames, it's really hard to imagine going back and playing it in 30.
But it's like saying I know exactly what you're saying. But would you consider Tony Hawk for the Switch a game you could pick for the Game of the Year?
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like it's an inferior version of a 2020 game. So kind of like,
yeah, but it still came out. I mean, it still came out this year.
I think the way I feel about it in my gut is if it's an improved version of an old game, it makes it eligible. But if it's a unimproved version, it's kind of like,
yeah,
it just feels weird, right?
This is an improved version with DLC. So I would say it's almost like Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. It's like the same kind of idea.
Okay, sweet. And the DLC is exclusive to PS5?
I think it's on PS4 as well, but I think you have to pay for it or get the director's cut for that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that sounds like a good one.
Yeah.
Are you going to get Death Stranding director's cut?
No, I had the original Death Stranding, and I might try it again because people say if you get far enough, it gets really, really fun. But it just, like, I played it for like 6 hours and I was like, man, this game just feels so slow and dry. It's just so like the characters are cool, the story and the world building is cool, but man, no one wants it. Really is just a lot of walking.
I know it's a walking simulator, but the graphics are great.
Yeah.
But which is funny, which brings me to another point. I mean, you mentioned earlier that you thought Forza Horizon 5 got robbed, and actually, this isn't something I kind of stopped playing a little bit. And I've got to say, I think it's a great racing game, but at the same time, it is, I think, a little bit overrated.
Okay.
And it does suffer enormously from that Ubisoft problem of here's a map, go around and do stuff, and you don't feel like you're progressing in any way. You don't feel like there's any real story or goal. You feel like you're just checking off a box, and it doesn't even feel overly satisfying. It's not like, oh, I'm getting money and I can save up and buy this with the money. Like that is happening, but it's so, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a game that has so much going on with its back end and its systems and so many systems that you're like overwhelmed to the point of not caring.
Yeah.
And I'm just not a huge car guy to go and like buy parts and deck out a customized car. So I actually think it's one of those games that it's great, especially that it's on Game Pass and it's a great thing to play, but definitely overrated, and the ratings are that high because of the graphics. You know, it plays great, but it just has no real unique ideas, and it feels like it's more of a culmination of the Horizon formula rather than like a completely inventive new approach to racing games in the structure of the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was the one reason I thought maybe it wouldn't make Game of the Year is, sure, it's amazing and high review, but like it is just another of like Forza Horizon 4 and 5. I'm sure there's not that many differences,
Totally. I mean, and after a while with a racing game, like it's fun, but like how much racing can you really do? I mean, there's no boost button, there's no weapons, it's not that wild, right? Like so.
Yeah, but I agree, but just for our listeners or whatever. You and I are not car people. We're not like, I have some friends that are hardcore car people, and they love talking about everything that has to do with racing games.
Do they love Forza Horizon 5?
Well, I don't know anyone that even owns an Xbox Series X besides you.
Well, it's on Xbox One.
I don't know any. I don't really talk to Xbox people. They're a different breed.
Yeah, we'll see. Like, I'm gonna keep playing it over the holiday. It is a nice like relaxed game where you just turn on, you can kind of drive around.
Is there a split screen?
No.
Okay.
Lots of online
games you can play.
There's a lot of online features, but I just don't really usually get into those deep online features where I like build a crew and I race my crew and all that. But it has a really deep features. Like if you had an Xbox and you got it and we were on Discord talking, like I'd do it with you and we do all those modes and stuff. It's funny. I actually showed when Dad and Karen came by. I actually threw on. Jordan was here too. I threw on a few games to show them, and one of them was Forza Horizon 5. Another was Flight Simulator, which they thought was cool, and I put on Resident Evil 5.
Resident Evil 5?
Yeah.
What? What?
just to show them something more intense, like action. And then it was cool because I was in the factory right at that boss with like the fan machine on it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it was like
you mean Resident Evil 8?
Sorry, 8. Yeah, not 5. Not 5. 5 random.
Why are you playing 5?
No, 8.
I can, like, can you imagine showing Flight Simulator in 4s and then be like, and here's Resident Evil 5?
It'd still be pretty cool. I mean, still look.
No,
good.
I just like the graphics change.
Totally, but I mean, 8 looks awesome, and then they watched me kill that boss, and like it was intense. But anyways, anything else you've been playing, Derek? I only have one more game or two more games I've been playing.
No, well, actually, so my girlfriend and we decided to buy the other Overcooked 2 DLCs.
Okay.
So we've been playing a lot of Overcooked 2, like the new missions. They're all fun. It's, slightly different mechanics, but exactly what you expect from Overcooked.
Are you playing on which system are you playing on?
We play it on the Switch. Any kind of indie game I have on Switch.
Do you find the frame rate is okay and everything?
Yeah, we have no issue. I mean, I'm sure it's actually like 30 that's running actually like 28 or something weird.
Okay.
But yeah, I've never had an issue with
Plays
that.
fine. And 2 is better than 1 to you, huh?
They feel slightly different. I like them both for kind of different reasons. It's kind of like saying Metroid Prime 1 and Metroid Prime 2. It's like they're the same game in essence, but they're slightly different, and I don't know how to explain it. Like they're both good.
Yeah. I've been playing I've been replaying Metroid Dread a little bit. Started a game on hard.
Okay.
In my office upstairs, I don't know if I guess you haven't seen it. I have a little office, but I've got a third screen above my 2 screens. And so I use that for gaming. Only Switch though, because I play Xbox on the big TV. So it's kind of nice when I have little breaks, I can fire something up and play a little bit of Switch. So I've been playing Metroid Dread on that, replaying it. I've just gotten to I think I've just taken out 2 Emmys now. Just trying to, I kind of had an itch to replay it on hard and kind of reevaluate, really see if it's as good a classic that I, thought it was in that first initial rush.
Yeah.
So far,
and it is.
And so far, there's been elements that, a lot of it, I'm like, wow, I really do love this game. And little things like the details in the world and the environments and the controls, like, there's so much to love about this game. But I love it. But I've also been playing another game that might sneak into my Game of the Year top list or number 1, and that's Halo Infinite. And it's funny, I know we talked a little bit about the campaign earlier, but it's only the beta of the multiplayer that's released. Mm-hmm. You might be able to clarify this for me, because it's just the beta right now. So when the game comes out on the 8th, is more multiplayer supposed to unlock and open?
I don't think so. I think it actually is just the official. I think it is the full multiplayer, and it's not beta. They're just calling it that because the game isn't officially out yet.
Okay, because something about the HUD feels a little bit, I don't know, it doesn't feel finished in a way. Like, I'm
sure there'll be like updates and patches when it comes out.
Yeah,
but
and just some of the games got a little rough, and there's a few times I had to, and I've never experienced this before, but a few times like it would not connect to a game, and I'd have to quit the game and restart it. So I attributed that to being a beta, but I gotta say the game is stunningly beautiful. The level designs are great. I've had a ton of fun, and I'm actually really, really good at it. Like, I'm coming in first place on my team in the round every single time.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm actually amazing. I don't know where it came from, because I just was good at 1 and 2, I guess, and played those a lot. And I beat them all on Legendary, the hardest. So I have it kind of in my system. But the 4-on-4 matches, I smoke show. But when it gets to the big battle, 12-on-12, it's harder, right? Because there's a different style of battle,
ships and stuff. Yeah,
totally. But they're both super fun. And the good thing is, my friend came by, and he has been playing it for free, because it's free to play on his PC from the Microsoft Store. So he's easily able to sign into his account, and we both played co-op split screen online. And we played probably over the last weekend. He was down for the weekend. We probably played for about 10 hours.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was just smoke showing, and you get this grapple hook that it's so incredibly fun to play it. Like it doesn't have the wall. It feels a lot like Titanfall 2 with how smooth it feels.
Okay, yeah.
Except it doesn't have the wall run, but it has little things like ledge grabbing, but it has this way to do a shift like from Metroid, like the phase shift. and you
Oh,
can,
cool.
and it also has an ability to use like a grapple beam that has like really realistic physics. So if you're running and you jump in the air and you're kind of like the momentum still pushing you forward, but you turn and hit it, you'll like swing around something. It's really,
Oh,
really
that's awesome.
easy to use. And in multiplayer, you can only get it as an unlockable. I know those things are you have the whole time in the single player campaign. So I got to tell you, like to play a game like this, that's 4K, 60 frames, so smooth. They've just polished the gameplay. It feels great. Like I think this could be huge now that it's free to play. And if the single player campaign matches what I played here, This is easily going to be in my top 3 game of the year. Just feels
That's
amazing.
awesome.
It feels amazing.
Yeah, I really want to play it. Like it sounds really awesome, and from what I've read about it, it looks really good. The only thing I've heard that's negative about it is the whole battle pass achievement stuff.
Can you explain that to me? Because I barely even know what that means.
So you have to buy a battle pass, I think, to get like the premium content. I think just playing you'll unlock stuff, but to get the seasonal battle pass, you'll unlock like the extra goodies.
No, sorry. Let me just clarify. So a battle pass is basically when like every month or two they'll have a cosmetic skin that you can either unlock or buy only during that 2 months. Is that right?
So I think it's something more like this. It's like, oh, if you buy the battle pass for the next 3 months, when you play this game, you'll unlock extra content because you have the battle pass. And like it caps out. So if you get 10 levels in that 3 months, you'll get all the content. Where if you don't get it, I think either it's lost forever, you can't get it, or I think it goes to the store and you have to buy it with real money, or like it's way more, it's exorbitant amounts of like the coins or crystals.
But it's all cosmetic, right?
It's all cosmetic, yeah. So other games obviously aren't cosmetic.
Who cares?
Well, people, again, this is how free-to-play games are. It's kind of their new scheme. So, because they used to do things where, we're selling a new map pack for $10.
Yeah.
The problem is that divides the player.
Splits the user base. And I know
Exactly.
people hate when at least they're not doing the thing where you're paying to get faster XP gains. Because the game works in a way where it's completely even all the time. Like there's no way that I can load in. Oh, I played for 100 hours. I'm going to be better than you. Nothing like that, right?
No, yeah. So anyway, so the complaint I heard, and that one of the things that I heard also is funny, is the achievements, like the little tasks that you have, like the daily tasks to do. They're they go against the core thing you're supposed to be doing in the game. So sometimes like their missions, like let's say you're doing capture the flag or something, and it says like one of your achievements is to kill someone 3 times with a certain weapon. Everyone is trying to get the XP to unlock all their stuff. That no one's playing capture the flag anymore. They're all just running to find someone and get the weapon and do the exact same to do the achievement. So it's like a lot of people aren't playing the core value of what that mode was. And Bungie has already come out and said we're gonna fix that because clearly, like the achievement system we made, like is not the way we want people to be playing this game. And the other thing I heard that was really funny is when it first came out, people figured out that you could set up a custom-made game and make all the bots have 1 HP.
And then you get crazy XP, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I actually think I'm getting my game mixed up. That's Battlefield 2042.
Oh.
But the first thing I said was Halo, where all the achievements are just silly. So Bungie, or not Bungie, 343, right?
Yeah, 343.
Yeah, 343 is going to fix that and make it more akin to like what you should be doing in the game objectives. And they're also going to be doing the XP as opposed to just getting achievements gives you XP. I think it's now playing a game will give you a flat rate regardless.
Okay.
So people were doing like all these mathematical analytics of like, oh, which method is better because you get more points but this is fat. Like people weren't crazy in the forums, but yeah. Anyways, it's such a small little gripe at the end of the day because it's not the real gameplay. It's just for the cosmetic achievements, those kind of people. But yeah, it looks amazing. I really am excited to try it.
Yeah, it's a really weird. I mean, to me, that complaint is such a non-issue, and it seems really strange. It's almost like how Nintendo and Zelda fans are. That we now have Halo fans. That the expectations are so ridiculously high for this game that I watched like a Digital Foundry breakdown, and like the things they're upset about in the graphical performance are just like they're just so in depth in things I would never notice. Do you know what I mean? And they've got this big
Yeah,
world.
but that's like Digital Foundry's like
I know,
like whole thing.
I know, but just I guess sometimes being in the Reset era kind of gamer bubble, you think that there's these extreme opinions when all these games are just masterclass games.
Yeah.
I read a little thing today about the guy. So remember when 343 and they with Halo Infinite they like had to change their lead directors. So there's an interview, I think, with the lead director, and he talked about some of the things he did when he walked into the game and how he played the game and listened to everybody and how they delayed it for a year. But it was interesting that he said they wanted to take the 10 things that the game was doing well and that people were excited and passionate about and like double down on those and make them excellent. So it was an interesting approach that he had, that of taking those 10 things and making them really, really good. And I think that's a really cool approach to game design, to like say, to be able to sit there and say, okay, we have build the game, let's play it. What can we do better?
And it's funny because like even that you're saying that, it makes me think of Ghost of Tsushima or Assassin's Creed, where it's like Ghost of Tsushima especially, there's such good stuff in there that like they didn't like just trim the fat, like make the stuff that's great just greater. Like you don't need to throw in all this extra stuff, and apparently it's going to work for Halo.
Yeah, he said the other hard thing he had to do was it was really hard for them and the team to delay the co-op until next year. But he said that it was the three things he said, the three main things he did. One was to delay the game. One was to focus on the 10, they called it the 10 epics, the 10 things they were going to, improve and double down on. But the hard thing was delaying it. But the thing is, he wanted to make sure the team was not burnt out by the time they released it, like most teams are. And he says that we need to make sure that the team still has energy for the post-release, work.
Yeah.
So he said that ultimately we had to delay Forge, we had to delay co-op, but he's like, we can't. It's anti-crunch. They're gonna get it done, and he's like, we needed to make sure that we had a roadmap to continue our energy to continue with this game. So it sounds like they're almost taking a games as a service approach a little bit. And personally, I would rather Halo Infinite be something where we don't get a Halo Infinite 2 until the next Xbox, and throughout this generation we're getting campaign DLCs and new levels and new modes and things like that. Like I would love that for it to be more of a service.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So yeah, anyways, I'm really stoked for that one.
Nice. It comes out in, I think, what is it, 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Over 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Just after the Game Awards, right? Or just before?
Just the day before. So in our night, I'll have a played a bunch by the time we chat next time.
Yeah, we'll have a good podcast.
I mean that's my next game. That and Mario Party Superstars. I mean, I think we kind of talked about what the next game was. I mean, I know you're gonna get Mario Party Superstars in 2 days. So.
Didn't you say there was another thing you want to talk about? Didn't you have another segment?
Yeah, next game.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to be seamless, but I failed. Well, I think that about wraps it up this week, huh, Derek? Any other news?
Yeah. No, that's it.
Cool.
That's
well,
all for me.
To our listeners who made it to the end, thank you. Please leave us a comment on YouTube and let us know you're out there. And if you have any questions, we'll be happy to cover it next time.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyways, this is Pete. Thanks for talking, Derek. This is Pete signing out.
And this is Derek. See you later.